Welcome to the Waycast, and this is the news. And today in the news, Kamala faces backlash over ID requirements at Arizona rally, sparking voter ID debate. Vice President Kamala Harris faced criticism from requiring government issued photo ID for entry to her campaign rally in Arizona, despite her previous position to voter ID laws. I'm sorry. The campaign event held near Phoenix required attendees to RSVP and present a matching government issued photo ID for admission. Now, I do know from my sister living in Arizona, it's a nightmare to get an ID out there, but it's not like Kentucky. But anyway, critics on social media accused Harris of hypocrisy, pointing out the contrast between requiring ID for her rally and her past statement against voter ID laws. In the 2021 interview, Harris argued that voter ID laws could make it difficult for some people, especially in rural communities. No, it's more likely in there because we haven't had to get the new in Kentucky. Thanks to Matt Blevins, not our antichrist governor Andy Beshears. He postponed us having to get the new ID for. I haven't heard when it's postponed to. Anyway, I'm not going to be able to get on a plane when it's postponed to once it starts, because I'm not going to get that new ID. Rural communities to provide their identity for voter purposes. Harris has also written on an op-ed in 2020 accusing Republicans of using voter ID law and other tactics to suppress the voting rights of people of color. Well, they buy their cigarettes, lottery tickets, and everything else. Okay. Kamala copies. Well, before you can sign up for food stamps, you've got to have an ID. Anyway, not saying that that's true about those people, but Kamala copies Trump's no tax on tips proposal. Vice President Kamala Harris announces her support of eliminating federal taxes on tips for service workers during rally in Las Vegas. Harris' proposal mirrors a similar policy introduced by former President Donald Trump in June. A Harris campaign official clarified that the policy would require legalization and include income limits to prevent abuse by high earners. Trump accused Harris of stealing his idea and using it for political purposes. The proposal has received mixed reactions from Republicans and some workers, with some preferring increases in base wages instead. A Yale University analysis finds that a similar bill would only affect about 2.5% of the workforce, and 5% of the workforce is the bottom 25% of earners. Minnesota National Guard commander says Tim Walz, properly retired. Former Minnesota National Guard Command Sergeant Major Doug Julin alleged in a CNN interview that Tim Walz, now Minnesota governor and Kamala Harris's running mate, properly left his National Guard unit before deploying to Iraq. Julin claims Walz never went around proper channels to retire, contradicting his earlier assurances that he would deploy with the unit. The Minnesota National Guard states that Walt submitted retirement papers months before deployment orders were given. But critics argue unit typically know about deployment well in advance. The CNN interview was abruptly ended, leading to accusations of media bias from billionaire Bill Ackman. And one other thing was he signed up for 6 years and he retired. Well, he's claiming he retired after 4 years. So he actually didn't fulfill his quota. And he's not a master sergeant major or whatever title he's using now. He didn't finish that. But Vance makes Sunday show rounds as Walt stays out of spotlight. Senior Senator D.J. Vance, Donald Trump's running mate, appears on multiple major news networks on Sunday, including ABC, CBS, and NBC. In contrast, Governor Tim Walz, Kamala Harris's running mate, was absent from network television appearances. Vance defended his past comments about family voting and elaborated on Trump's plans for handling illegal immigrants. The Harris campaign has been criticized for a lack of media transparency, with Harris himself having not conducted formal interviews or press conferences for weeks. Trump campaign hit by alleged Iranian attack. Donald Trump campaign claims it had been hacked with international communication leaks to Politico over the past month. It also was hit by the DDoS. And tonight he was supposed to have an interview with Elon Musk, and it was hacked. The campaign blames Iran for the hack, citing a Microsoft report that Iran attempted to breach a high-level presidential campaign official's account. The extent of the hacked material is unclear, but it reportedly included a research dozer on DJ Vance, Trump's running mate, and international communications from a top campaign official. This incident echoes the 2016 hack on Democrat National Committee emails, which were released through WikiLeaks and attributed to Russia operatives. And they wound up arresting the guy, putting him in prison for 10 years for doing that. The Trump campaign is urging media outlets not to publish the leaked document, claiming it would be doing the bidding of American enemies. The hack raises questions about how media organizations should handle such leak information, with some arguing for caution and some suggesting Trump's past actions forfeit special consideration. Now, new evidence potentially I'm sorry. I shouldn't have eaten a piece of popcorn before I went on this. New evidence potentially indicates Josh Shapiro in cover-up. New evidence has been revealed in the case of Ellen Greenberg, a teacher whose death was controversially ruled a suicide despite suffering 20 stab wounds. Whoa. The case gained renewed attention when Josh Shapiro, who, as Pennsylvania Attorney General, had blocked reinvestigation of the case, was considered as a prominent running mate for Kamala Harris. The investigation suggests 3 of Greenberg's wounds were inflicted post-mortem, and a lawyer present at the key meeting with the medical examiner has been given immunity. There are several inconsistencies in the original investigation, including a lack of proper evidence collection and the loss of crucial video footage. Shapiro, Shapiro's handling of the case is cited as a possible reason for him not being selected as Harris's running mate. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court has agreed to hear arguments from Greenberg's parents as they seek to challenge the suicide ruling. In other words, they're trying to say that it wasn't because he was a practicing Jew and that they're anti Semitic as Democrats, is why he wasn't selected. The U.S. court, the UK court sentences men to prison over social media posts amid widespread civil unrest. Jordan Parler and Tyler Kay have become the first people jailed for social media posts related to recent riots in UK. Parler was sentenced to 20 months in prison for urging people to target a hotel housing asylum seekers in Leeds. Kay received a 38-month sentence for encouraging people to set fire to the hotel housing asylum seekers and calling for a mass deportation. Richard Williams from Wales was also convicted and sentenced to 3 months for encouraging riots on Facebook. Over 741 people have been arrested in connection with the unrest, with 302 charged so far. The UK government is considering revisiting legislation regulating social media companies' responsibilities regarding content that incites violence and hate. They passed a law where it was illegal to post hate speech on social media. That's why I stay off social media. The U.S. is reportedly considering pardoning Maduro in exchange for a peaceful transition of power. The United States is reportedly considering offering a pardon to Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro in exchange for him stepping down from power. The Biden administration has allegedly put everything on the table to persuade Maduro to leave office before his term ends in January. The talks have been conducted virtually between George Rodriguez, president of Venezuela's Congress, and Daniel B. Erickson from the United States National Security Council. This offer comes after Venezuela recent election where opposition candidate Edmundo Gonzalez reportedly defeated Maduro in a landslide, according to vote tallies. The U.S. had previously made a similar amnesty offer to Maduro during secret talks in Doha last year, which he declined to discuss. The USA and China deadlock with 40 gold medals each at Paris Olympics. The United States and China tied for the most gold medals in the 2024 Paris Olympics, which each country wins 40 golds, marking the first such draw in Summer Games history. The U.S. secured the tie with a nail-biting 67-66 victory over France in the women's basketball and the final event of the games. The race for gold medals came down to the wire, with both countries trading leads throughout the final day of competition. Despite the gold medal tie, the U.S. won the most overall medals with 126 compared to China's 91. Some U.S. athletes, particularly in the swimming, felt they have performed better despite strong overall showing. What's next? Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, I'm sorry, continue to repeatedly interact with media while Kamala Harris and Tim Walz were nowhere to be found. Yesterday, the Republican vice president nominee sat down with ABC, CBS, and NBC. These weren't friendly news interviewers. These mainstream media outlets opposed the Trump campaign every step of the way, and still J.D. Vance took the time to talk to them. So, why have we still not heard from Kamala Harris? If Vance can do this, why can't the Democrat presidential nominee? But more importantly, why are the media campaigning for her? Yesterday, Molly Young passed, insisted that Kamala is an Obama level operator. Despite this being verbally untrue, well, it may be true because maybe Obama has a brain implant. He's going to tell her everything to do. She's just a puppet on a string. But anyway, what purpose does it serve? It's nothing more than propaganda. Similarly, in 2023, ABC's John Carl acknowledged that Kamala was put in charge of the southern border shortly after Biden entered office. This week, he told J.D. Vance that Kamala wasn't the border czar. It goes on and on and on. The media will continue to lie and message on behalf of the Democrat Party while Kamala and Walz avoid anything close to resembling a tough question. So there is a video circling around of J.D. Vance handling the CNN reporter. You can probably find that as well. But that is the news. We bring you the news, all the news, nothing but the truth news, hopefully, so that if you are one of my followers, and most of them seem to follow Channel 1 or CNN or some other news outlet, and they're getting nothing but lies, then hopefully I can bring you the truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God. So with that, we say good night. That was